This is Josh, and I'm here with Dino from Fear Factory, and it's on Loud and Heavy. So you're in a bus with Shadows Fall
Yep.
with what is it, like 14 guys total in there?
14 guys total, yep.
How's that going?
Uh, it's going good. I mean, everybody gets along. That's the most important thing. And the bus is not that dirty, so it's actually pretty cool.
So did you guys pick Shadows Fall, or was it just something that was put together?
Both. We picked Shadows Fall, and it was something that was also put together.
Can I ask why? Why Shadows Fall of all bands?
Well, because they have a record coming out. We have a record coming out. We're really good friends with the guys, so
Nice.
help each other out.
Awesome. I'm really curious because I'm also a big Chimera fan, so I'm wondering, how that whole thing went down with Matt, and also getting him to switch over to bass.
Well, I know that Matt had left Chimera sometime in December, and then he joined 6 Feet Under for a few months there. He actually texted me, I think it was in February, and he's like, "Hey man, you got so-and-so's phone number?" And I was like, "Wait a minute, we're looking for a bass player, Matt." So that's pretty much how it started, and it actually works out really good because see, Matt is a guitar player, and Fear Factory, you kind of need a bass player that plays kind of like a guitar. So it works out great. It's like having two guitar players in a band, but he plays bass.
Nice.
So it's really tight. It's actually tighter, I think.
Awesome. So I know Gene Hoglan was
Yeah.
he was just the touring drummer, right, on the last album?
He was a touring drummer, and he also contributed to a few of the songs on the last record.
Okay. So I'm curious how the writing process goes for you guys.
For when on this
The new
particular
album, yeah.
this particular record, it was just me and Burton decided to take control on this record and do the record ourselves. I actually contacted one of my really good friends, a guy named John Sankey. He's based out of Australia. He comes to LA back and forth, and I actually had him help me write and program all the drums on a drum program, and so we did the record that way. Me and him did all the music, and of course Bert does all the lyrics and the concept, and things really didn't start coming together until we actually came up with the title for the album called The Industrialist. And once that came about, and then Bert started to write a bunch of lyrics to it, and then kind of going back and forth, music, lyrics, just making it fit, and worked out great. That's pretty much how it was, and it happened really fast. I mean, there are some great aspects of working everything off the computer, all the drums on the computer, because it's like you're going to instantly hear what it's going to sound like. You know what I mean? And so it was great. It worked out great that way.
Nice. You guys are pretty much a legendary band at this point, and you've influenced tons and tons and tons of bands, and you're still kicking it and still kicking it hard. And the new album seemed to me, every track on there just seemed a lot heavier and a lot more aggressive than some of the older stuff. I mean,
More than Mechanized?
a little bit more to me.
Wow,
A little
cool.
bit more.
I really don't notice it in some ways. I really don't notice it. I just write whatever comes out. If it's heavy, if it's light, whatever. As long as it feels good for the moment, for what we're trying to do, then it works.
Nice.
You're probably going to ask why we still doing heavy shit. Because it's in me. It's fucking metal. I mean, just because even though I'm 60, I'll still be listening to heavy shit.
That brings me to my next question then. What do you think about the current metal scene and where it's headed, and just a lot more thrash coming out again?
I love thrash. I love 80s thrash. And I mean, that's pretty much what I grew up on, back then. But what do I think about the current thrash scene? There's some really good thrash bands. Havoc, really good band, I think it's cool. I mean, I'm glad that Death Angel's back, and, Testament's still going strong. Exodus, is really going strong, and I think it's cool.
What's the LA scene like? You get out a lot?
Do I get out? I'm fucking worldwide. What are you talking about? Do I get out a lot? Of course, I'm out a lot. I mean, LA back in the 90s had a really new metal scene going on, with the Korn and the System of a Down and stuff like that. But it's pretty much gone back to thrash and heavy shit now, and it's really good.
Yeah, I know Warbringer's out of LA, and they're tearing it up down there right now.
I thought they were from Vegas.
Huh.
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I mean, how does it feel knowing that you've influenced bands like Devin Townsend and Chimera and Nemec and all those guys?
How does it feel?
Yeah, I mean, come on, like 20 years later,
Some days I'm like, it's really fucking cool, and some days I don't even think about it. I'm like, I just know that, what me and Bert set out to do back in the day. We tried to do something different. When we came out with our first record, Soul of a New Machine, there was melodic vocals on a death metal industrial inspired album, and we got a lot of shit for it. People totally reamed us a new asshole for having melodic vocals, and that was like 1992. And then now, everybody has it on their records.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, to me, it was like maybe we were just too far ahead of our time at the moment. But it's cool. I just know that.
Well, you've probably gotten this question, a lot over the last, 10, 15, 20 years, but where'd Cars come from? I mean, out of all the songs you could pick to...
That was kind of like, it started out as like a fun little kind of joke, and then it just kind of grew really big. And it wasn't actually really our fault. It was kind of more of the record label's fault, because we first recorded the song as just a B-side. It was on a digipack of like 5 bonus songs that you get. Mm-hmm. And it was cool. And then the label was like, wow, we should put this on radio. We got to get this on the radio. And we're like, huh? We're like, whatever. And they put it on radio, and it hit. We're like, oh no. We thought that it was going to be the death of us, but it actually helped us a lot. And it was kind of cool that it actually happened.
Nice.
One of the reasons why is because we actually had Gary on the track, Gary Newman. So I thought that made it cooler.
That is awesome. So you guys have been on numerous tours over the years. What's your favorite, if you can remember?
Favorite tour, probably one of the best ones was the '97 Ozfest. It was like Marilyn Manson, Pantera, and everybody was just hanging out, having a good time. There wasn't any corporate bullshit. There was nothing. It was just, everybody was having a good time. Everybody was partying. Everybody was bus hopping, going from different bus. This guy was making these kind of drinks. This bus was making these kind of drinks. This guy had this kind of beer. This guy was having a barbecue. So everybody was just having a blast, and I just remember that, and it was a great time.
Do you ever think that you'd be standing here right now, Fear Factory is still alive, and still that name is still so prevalent in the scene?
No, didn't think that. I just thought, I'm just some Mexican kid out of, El Centro, California, just, trying to just, get my name out there, making my first record, and I didn't really think it was going to take off the way it did.
You guys got any big summer festivals going on? Any big tours after this one?
Well, right after this one, we go over straight to Europe, and we do the whole summer festival tour out there, and they have great festivals out there, by the way. And it's going to be cool because we're going to get to see a lot of our friends out there. Then we come back here and we do this thing called the Shockwave Festival. It's in July. And I'm not sure if we're playing in Frisco or anywhere near here. But that's going to go all through July. It's us and Voivod, old school band.
Yeah.
And then we do, hopefully, September, October, we'll probably be going somewhere else. I think hopefully Australia, I'm not sure. And then definitely end of October, November, and part of December, we'll be on tour in Europe with us and Devin Townsend co-headlining.
Nice.
So it should be a really good package.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you guys make it back through again, and that way I can catch up with you guys again and see where you guys are at.
Well, the record hasn't even come out yet. It's going to be a couple of weeks. So, and luckily, as of right now, it hasn't leaked yet, but who knows? And actually, it being 2 weeks away is actually pretty good that it hasn't leaked, because the last record we put out, Mechanized, it was 2 months before the record came out.
Oof. And I mean, Shadows Fall went out there and they were putting song after song after song out on the internet and ended up on #1 on iTunes for like a week.
That's
so it's
good.
not necessarily a bad thing to leak a couple of them.
No. Well, we released first single, Recharger, and that, was already over 3,000 here in the U.S. Just a single. That's pretty good.
Hey, when Jose played it on Sirius, I was like, he's like, New Fear Factory, and I cranked it as loud as I could. I've been waiting a long time.
Jose's a really big fan of ours, and, we really good friends with him. And there was a couple of times where he was telling fans, hey, man, Dino's going to be over here. If you see him on tour, bring him tacos. So we had this one tour where, we get knocks on the bus, coo. Like, who is it? And, some dude was bringing us tacos. Everywhere we went. And some people made some really good tacos. Some people bought, whack Taco Bell. But it was cool. It was still the, the gesture was still good. But it was some people who actually made them and brought them. And that was cool.